What's up mga kasimplang? This is Prince, my colleague. May pupuntahan kami ngayon. Nang nakaraan nag-swab test kami para po yun sa first aid training namin. So ngayon pupunta kami dun sa training, first aid training namin sa venue. May natin na lang kaming isa. Alas 8 yung pero alas 8 na andito pa rin kami. So antayin na lang namin yung isa namin kasama, mga kasimplang, bumili yata ng kape. Welcome back po sa aming channel, sa ating channel mga kasimplang. Welcome back po sa mga bago pa lang po dyan. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe po sa bago nating channel. Ito po, pupunta na kami. My colleague Prince, Vigil. Kaya mga kasama ko dati nung nagpa-swab test. So hindi bawal daw kasi doon i-cover yung swab test. Ititong ko na lang sa kamaharan. So antabayanan nyo na lang po kung saan na kami pupunta, mga kasimplang. Ayun na nga. Akala ko yung training doon sa training center talaga ikakandak. Nagbago yung location. Dito kami ngayon sa kabilang accommodation ng mga company. Meron kasi kami ditong training room. So dito kinandak para mas malapit. Kasi baka puno daw yun doon sa training center. So magsisimula na po kami ngayon.
One eternity later.
Capital letters is to prepare certificate. Tell me anybody attending first aid training or
injury given before the emergency service.
Sound okay or you want to please?
Specialized medical care. First aid is not medical treatment and cannot be compared with what a paramedic or doctor would do. It simply involves making common sense decisions in the best interests of the patient. Learning to perform first aid is an interactive process that requires a combination of compassion, skill, and knowledge.
They are checking break.
First Aid International promotes a practical and effective approach to the application of first aid. In just a short space of time, you will gain essential life-saving skills. Each practice session is designed to give you both the competence and the confidence to provide emergency first aid when called to do so. You will learn to realise what are the normal characteristics that a healthy person exhibits, and therefore what are not normal. This is when you must intervene to provide assistance. In some circumstances, it will be obvious what is required, others not so. It's not important to diagnose what is wrong with the patient, simply that there is something wrong and help is required. The principles of first aid are to preserve life. Maintaining the safety and well-being of all those involved in an emergency is vital. Emergency situations often change during the process of managing an incident. The care cycle will help you preserve life by prompting you to provide care in the correct priority. Prevent deterioration. Carry out your patient assessment and treatment with care. You should aim to ensure the condition of the patient does not worsen. Continually reassess the patient and provide the appropriate care until qualified help arrives. Promote recovery. Arrange for medical care and provide first aid in accordance with your training and skills. Providing reassurance through confident and appropriate care will aid in promoting recovery of the patient by alleviating anxiety and discomfort caused by the incident. The first aider is the nominated person to take charge should there be a medical emergency. They will know how to assess the situation, provide the relevant emergency treatment, and call on professional help when appropriate. The first aider will ensure that the first aid kit is up to date, fully stocked, and that the kit and any other resources is stored in an accessible location. Providing first aid and life-saving skills involves following a structured sequence of steps. The emergency management procedure will remind you of these essential steps by using a standardised set of priorities in approaching and caring for an ill or injured patient. Both the scene and the patient's condition can change without warning. Continued reassessment is vital. The care cycle is a continuous process that is used to promote the ongoing reassessment of the patient and scene. It will help you to recall the appropriate steps required to ensure that you continue to preserve life, prevent deterioration, and promote recovery. This course will help you identify a medical emergency, call the emergency services, and provide care for the patient before the emergency services arrive. The course structure includes short film clips which are followed by instructor demonstrations. Some sections of the presentation are graphic, such as severe bleeding. This is intended to help you gain confidence in the event of a real emergency. You will have the opportunity to practice these new skills until you feel confident. Practice sessions are conducted in small groups. We've provided you with an easy-to-follow essential skills guide. This guide is an integral part of the learning process and will feature in every part of this course. Your course materials will help develop your knowledge during classroom sessions and act as a refresher after the course. You will also receive information on specific illnesses, injuries, and appropriate management. On successful completion of this course, your instructor will register your achievement with First Aid International. You will receive a certificate card in recognition of your achievement. Remember, first aid skills are easy to learn, and you have them for life. It's likely that those nearest to you, your family, friends and colleagues, will benefit most from what you will learn during this course. Becoming trained in first aid is not only training for today, it's training for life. Effective early CPR buys time by maintaining a small but critical blood flow to the heart and brain until further help arrives. The chain of survival concept emphasises the importance of early recognition and call for help, early CPR, early defibrillation, and post-resuscitation care. The third link in the chain of survival is early defibrillation. With the introduction of the automated external defibrillator, simply known as an AED, this step can be performed early by the rescuer. In most cases of cardiac arrest, the heart stops beating effectively because of an electrical disturbance called ventricular fibrillation, often referred to as VF. This is an abnormal, disorganized, trembling heart rhythm that stops the heart from circulating blood to the vital organs. Unless a normal heart rhythm is quickly restored, the patient may die in a matter of minutes. For every minute the patient's heart continues in VF, the possibility of defibrillation decreases by approximately 10%. After as little as 10 minutes, very few victims of a cardiac arrest are successfully resuscitated. If the rescuer acts immediately and the heart is still in a treatable rhythm, the patient can fully recover from the cardiac arrest. Defibrillators used by the ambulance service require the user to manually interpret the information provided on the patient monitor. This is called an electrocardiogram or ECG. This information is then used to make a decision whether or not to shock the patient. This is not the same with an AED. AEDs are compact portable devices that can be attached to the unresponsive, non-breathing patient. They follow an algorithm with predetermined decisions programmed into the device. Once the AED is turned on, the algorithm begins to guide the responder through the correct procedures. The device automatically analyses the patient's heart and decides if a shock is needed to correct the abnormal rhythm which caused the sudden cardiac arrest. This electrical shock is delivered to the heart through electrode pads placed on the patient's chest. Defibrillation often converts VF, allowing the heart to resume its normal pumping action, returning circulation to the body. An AED is simple to use and will dramatically improve the patient's chances of recovery. Always begin your assessment by performing your patient survey. If a patient is unresponsive, shout for help. Open the patient's airway and check for breathing. If the patient is not breathing normally, send a colleague or bystander to summon help and to collect the AED. If you are alone, you will need to go for help and collect the AED. Always perform CPR while you wait for the AED. When the AED arrives, position it close to the patient's head. Immediately open the case and turn it on by pressing the on-off button. Follow the instructions carefully. Prepare the patient's chest for pad placement. The electrodes must be attached to the patient's bare chest. Remove any clothing necessary to do this. You may need to shave or dry the chest for the electrode pads to adhere correctly. Shave the chest only if the hair is excessive, and even then spend as little time as possible on this. Do not delay defibrillation if a razor is not immediately available. You may also need to dry the patient's chest with a towel, first aid dressing, or even the patient's own clothing. Remove any jewellery or other movable objects from the pad placement areas. Begin to place electrode pads by removing them from the sealed package. AED electrode pads have pictures of both the packaging and the pads to assist you in attaching them correctly on the patient's chest. Observing the pictures prior to the attachment will improve the accuracy of electrode placement. Peel one electrode from its backing and place it on the patient's chest on the left side over the ribs and clear of any breast tissue. This pad should be placed vertically about 10 centimeters below the armpit. Place the other electrode just below the patient's right collarbone and beside the breastbone. Make sure the electrode attaches firmly to the skin. Again, press firmly to ensure good contact. You may use the same electrode pad placement position for most children. However, smaller paediatric pads to reduce the delivered current during defibrillation are available for use with AEDs.
See the location of the child?
In very small children, you may choose to apply one pad to the breastbone and the other between the child's shoulder blades. The picture on the pads will direct you in the correct application. Standard AEDs are suitable for use in children older than 8 years. In children between 1 and 8 years, paediatric pads or a paediatric mode should be used if available. If not, the AED should be used as it is. There is insufficient evidence to support the recommendation for or against the use of AEDs in children less than 1 year of age. Although most AED pads are labelled left and right or carry a picture of their correct placement, it does not matter if they're reversed. It's important to note that if an error is made, the pad should not be removed and replaced, as this wastes time and the pads may not adhere when reattached. If possible, continue CPR with the second rescuer while the pads are being attached. When both pads are in place, the AED will automatically begin to analyse a patient's heart rhythm. Earlier versions may require the operator to press the Analyze button. You will hear a voice message indicating that the AED is analysing the patient.
Do not touch patient. Evaluating heart rhythm.
Nobody should touch the patient while the AED is analysing the patient's rhythm. You should clear the area around the patient and wait for the AED to complete the analysis.
Stand by, preparing to shock.
If the AED determines a shock is required, you will receive voice and visual messages. The AED will begin charging automatically. It is essential that no one is touching the patient. Whilst performing a visual check, call out loud, "Everybody clear." A voice message will indicate when the device is fully charged and that the AED is ready to shock.
Everyone clear. Do not touch patient. Delivering shock.
Once you're assured that the patient is clear, push the shock button. This is usually indicated by a flashing light behind the button. Fully automated devices will shock automatically after a short warning period. During this time, the AED shock indicator will be flashing and providing an audible warning.
Shock delivered. Provide chest compressions and rescue breaths.
If you have to cancel the shock for safety reasons, you can press and hold the on-off button until the device deactivates. When the shock has been delivered or a no shock advice prompt has occurred, the AED will instruct you to provide CPR to the patient. Continue to follow the prompts from the AED until the patient can be handed over to the emergency services. The patient shows clear signs of waking up or you become too exhausted to continue. If possible, when handing the patient over to the advanced care, provide a brief summary of what happened, including the condition of the patient when found, what care you've provided, including the number of shocks and the current condition of the patient.
Ayun na nga. Nag-break kami. Nilagyan kami ng break hours for 20 minutes. Break daw kami muna for 15 minutes. Kasi natapos namin yung 2 hours na training. So dito kami ngayon sa kabilang accommodation. Dito nagkakandak ng first aid training namin. Ito, binigyan kami ng break. Break for training center. So dito ako ngayon sa kantin. So iwan ko lang kung libre yung pagkain. Parang hindi yata libre. Parang hindi yata libre yung pagkain para sa break. Pagkain sa kantin. Ayun na. Ayun na nga. Akala ko libre yung day pala. Yung lunch lang po yung libre. Buti na lang nakakain na ako ng almusal. Medyo busog-busog pa. So mamaya papasok ulit tayo para sa training. 15 minutes pa. Antay-antay na lang muna. Inom na lang muna ng tubig. Pampadagdag. So, abangan nyo na lang po mamaya, mga kasimplang.
Hi John, are you okay? Not responding.
Kneel down.
Hi John, are you okay? Not responding.
Shout. Help, help.
Help, help. Can you call the
Ambulance.
Bring the first aid.
Yeah. Clear the other hand. Check breathe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Update the ambulance. Say patient not breathing, I will do CPR. Yeah. Start CPR. And you know the people got
1,
body weight.
2,
Yeah.
3,
Hello. What is the mistake you are doing? No, not like this. See, keep the whole finger lock up. Yeah. And only bring the body weight down. Only. Yeah.
Two,
This is correct.
3,
This is correct.
4,
Oh,
5,
one, that.
6, 7,
And you see
8,
the body weight is good, no?
10,
CPR
11,
easy.
12, 13, 14,
Oh.
15, 16,
You know, anytime any requirement, call him.
20, 21, 22, 23,
Oh, very,
24,
very.
25, 26, 27,
Out of all, no?
29,
He
30.
did the best. Yeah. Good. Yeah. This man, do biryani for you. One extra.
One eternity later.
Hey, it's not responding. Megan, can you call the ambulance, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not responding.
Yeah.
Megan, tell the ambulance that it's not breathing. I'm doing CPR.
Good.
1, 2.
That was only massage. One pressure. Hello. Puya. Full pressure. Tap. Tap.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
First you are doing only massage.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ah, good Puya.
Now he's breathing.
Now. Hello. He is doing some calculation. Yeah. And nobody beat his run.
Ayun na nga. Try tayo kanina. ready yung simulan kasi yan napatay.
See, otherwise sound coming in. I don't know, without breaking ribs, no, he's smiling. Oh, you served up. Good. Ate.
Hey Joe! Joe, what's happened? Are you okay? Hey Joe! Hey! Are you okay? Please call ambulance. Can you please tell the management and please wait for the okay?
Clear the nose, check it.
10, 9, 8, 7,
So she's going down.
1. Stop standing. I will make CPR. Please call the ambulance.
As I said, that's the apple. I told you 1 second. Ah, good.
7, 8, 8, 1, 2,
No, this is slow.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
This is.
Now he's smelling.
Oh!
Ayun na nga, natapos na din kami. So, maya pauwi na kami.
Normally two will pay this, sir. Don't forget. Before you leave, any questions from you, sir? Yeah, any doubts? Anything you want to
Nagtatanong na kung anong question, wala kami
Try to
question.
become a very good first aider with full confidence.
So, free meal sir ha?
Yeah.
Free meal.
Oh, libre.
Ito po kami, katapos na.
Enjoy it.
Sir, thank you.
Say no to Corona.
Say thank you.
Bye bye to Corona.
Natapos din mga kasimplang. So, break time na po. Kakain na kami. Maya uwi na. O, ayun na nga. Katatapos lang namin mag-training mga kasimplang. So, hanggang dito na lang po. Hanggang sa susunod po na ride ventures natin o ano mga activities na gagawin natin. Sa mga bago po dyan sa channel natin, paki-like, comment, share, and subscribe po. Para po sa updated kayo sa mga bagong video na i-upload ko mga kasimplang. Hanggang dito na lang. Babush!